The need to rework Nigeria's electoral system in order to deepen democratic practice and build a great Nigeria has again been reiterated. Guests on NTA's program Good Morning Nigeria made the statement while analyzing Nigerian political outlook in 2020. Murjanatu Adam Said reports.
Coming from the 2019 review and how political activities in the year gone could impact the new year, guests on Good Morning Nigeria look at the prospects for 2020.
Our constitution, has given us a very good background, for us to think about ideology. An ideology that is going to give citizens food on the table, an ideology is going to provide employment, ideology that is going to reduce the concentration of wealth, in few hands, an ideology that is going to make this country great, through distribution. So I think that if we use that section, that chapter of the Constitution, and we make it justiciable, we are going to be moving forward.
They advise on the need to reflect and cultivate the ideals that would take Nigeria to the promised land, calling for more voter education and sensitization.
One, we must quickly do a reform on our electoral laws. We must help INEC to perform by ensuring that we kind of break down INEC into three spaces, which is the electoral umpire, is the electoral monitoring team itself, which will conduct elections, and we talk about the enforcement area for INEC. Then we talk about the delineation, which I was always suggesting that we deal with it with National Population Commission and the Bureau of Statistics.
I will be in support of reforms as far as the electoral body is concerned, but let it be one that Nigerians are going to key into, even knowing what the reforms are standing for, okay? Because you can't clamor for what even the citizens don't even understand. So let the citizens be well informed first, so they know that exactly the reform is going to be to their advantage and to the advantage of the generality of Nigerians.
We need to use national orientation to begin to whip up patriotism. If we can whip up enough patriotism from now, even anybody you now give the position to as an ad hoc staff would be patriotic at the polling unit to ensure that they're not swayed one way or the other and they keep the peace.
The guest commended President Muhammadu Buhari's New Year speech, especially where he identified Nigeria's challenges and the way forward in Abuja. Murjanatu Adam Said, NTA News.
The national chairman of the APC, Adams Oshiomhole, has described the New Year message by President Muhammadu Buhari to Nigerians as not only significant but reassuring that the nation's upward trajectory for a sustainable future is no fluke. Mr. Oshiomhole stated this after leading some members of the National Working Committee of the party to an audience with the president. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has the report.
The audience with the national leadership of the governing APC was the first formal engagement by President Muhammadu Buhari in the year 2020. The APC chieftains were in the State House to show appreciation to the Nigerian leader for ushering the nation into the new year and new decade with renewed hope for a better Nigeria, as contained in his first formal letter to his countrymen.
The responsibility of every leadership is to inspire hope, explaining periodically what he is doing, what he's going to do differently, and what he hopes to accomplish within a given time. And the president has said, even as I'm not going to contest again, I owe this country obligation to clean up the electoral process based on observed gaps and weaknesses here and there, so that I'll be leaving behind a legacy of free, fair, and credible elections. So we came essentially to assure the president that most well-meaning Nigerians are with him. They appreciate the hope, and the challenge now is to work hard to ensure that all of those promises that he has made, he will deliver in 2020, that we keep our word, because our word must be our bond with the people of Nigeria in our shared commitment to take Nigeria to the next level. All members of APC, rank and file and leadership level, must find time to reflect and contribute ideas on how to ensure that by this time 2021, we will be able to look back and say, President said, I will deliver on X, Y, Z. At the end of the day, he did. And then we have a message for 2021.
The APC national chairman used the opportunity to commend President Buhari for his courage to put Nigeria first before any other sentiment in the execution of his mandate.
Consistently under this president, people are now used to going for Christmas without having to worry whether or not there is petroleum products in the market. I also think that we ought to celebrate the fact that we are able to celebrate Christmas and New Year, and people have rice everywhere that were not imported from other countries. Nigerian-made rice.
Mr. Oshomole, who presented a season's greeting card to the president, reassured the nation that in the year 2020, the governing APC will not only be stronger, but more coherent and peaceful. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The federal government's anti-corruption crusade is steadily gaining momentum as a number of high-profile convictions have been recorded. This was contained in a brief by the Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed. Anthony Forsen reports.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, the Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, said it secured 890 convictions, standing as the highest anywhere in the world. This is against 2015, 103 convictions, 2016, 189 convictions, 2017, 190 convictions, and 2018, 202.
The high rate of convictions in 2019 is in addition to the billions of naira in looted funds that have been recovered by the EFCC.
On its part, the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, ICPC, has launched a novel project of tracking the huge resources allocated to constituency projects over the years, starting with the education and health sectors, a move the minister stressed has forced contractors back to project sites they had abandoned. While the Wahala Day app, a one-stop shop for daily information from ICPC and for Nigerians to report acts of corruption, has also been launched by the Commission.
This is not the first time Nigeria is fighting the cankerworm of corruption, but it is the first time that the fight is being backed and sustained by a strong political will, with a president renowned for his honor, dignity, and incorruptibility, personally leading the fight. And that is making all the difference. I've also said that while the war against corruption is still a war in progress, it is also fair to say that corruption has now been driven under the table and that the corrupt ones can no longer flaunt the process of their corruption the way they used to do in the past.
On security, Lai Mohammed reiterated that the gallantry of the nation's men and women in uniform was stepped up in the fight against insurgency, despite the fact that they are fighting the rump of Boko Haram as well as ISWAP.
It is important that we as citizens do not say or do anything to demoralize the gallant troops who are fighting to keep us safe. Let us remember them in our prayers and give them our support always, rather than sniping at them. Terrorism is not just a Nigerian problem. It's a global problem. It has global ramifications.
The ongoing border drill, the minister said, is undoubtedly one of the boldest decisions ever taken by any administration in Nigeria as part of measures to secure the nation's land and marine borders.
For clarity, the ECOWAS Protocol on Transit demands that when a transit container berths at a seaport, the receiving country is mandated to escort same without tampering with the seals to the border of the destination country. Unfortunately, experience has shown that our neighbors do not comply with this protocol.
Critical infrastructure on its part, the minister said, this administration has remained consistent in terms of developing the sector. Lai Mohammed added that most heartwarming is the signing into law the amended Deep Offshore Act by President Muhammadu Buhari. With the year 2019 remaining as a momentous year, the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration has indeed taken Nigeria closer to the next level target. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Still on review of the outgone year, although 2019 was an election year for Nigeria, the business of governance and implementation of policies and programs of the federal government did not suffer neglect, unlike the case of previous general election years. Mitari Ekwen gives us highlights of the activities of the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation in 2019.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, the Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, said it secured 890 convictions.
We apologize for that mix-up. Let's move on to our next story. Okay, I think right about this time we'll go join Maiduguri for what they have on Nationwide. Over to you in Maiduguri.
Thank you, Lydia, and welcome to Nationwide from Maiduguri. President Muhammadu Buhari has given marching orders to the Northeast Development Commission, NEDC, to ensure entrenchment of lasting peace through non-militaristic means in the region. Managing Director of the Commission, Dr. Mohammed Goni Alkali, disclosed this at the distribution of food assistance to people of Goza local government area of Borno State. Here's the report.
Goza Town, the headquarters of Goza local government area of Borno State, is home to returning IDPs and others displaced from surrounding villages, picking up the pieces of their lives due to the Boko Haram insurgency. This food assistance from Northeast Development Commission, NEDC, comprises 15,050 kilograms bags of beans, with same number for maize flour, including 5,000 bags of rice, as well as cooking oil. Managing Director NEDC, Dr. Muhammad Alkali Goni, explained that the security situation in the region is fluid and dynamic, with humanitarian situation which has left people taking refuge in IDP camps.
Across the northeast, Goza is just a starting point. We are going to go around all over the place, see where we can just intervene to fill in the gap. This is why today we decided to just join the governor and also contribute our token.
Dr. Alkali Goni maintained that the approach of the Commission is to simultaneously cover the gaps of development needs and humanitarian requirements to promote the peace-building processes, adding that more areas will benefit. Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, who led other stakeholders to witness the flag-off of the food assistance, assured judicious distribution by the state government personnel on ground to reach target beneficiaries. The state government also announced to complement the gesture by the NEDC with additional food items, wrappers, and cash support.
Still on peace building, Borno State government has stressed the commitment to resettle some ravaged communities in Goza local government area of the state. The state governor, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, restated the position of his administration during his assessment tour in Borno South. The report is here presented.
Restoration of civil authorities in communities dislodged by Boko Haram insurgents is one of the priorities of the present administration. The governor had a stopover at Ngurose in Bama local government area, where he directed clearing the township to pave the way for rebuilding the devastated communities. The visit to the ravaged communities of Ngoshe and Warebe in Goza local government area was to assess devastation and to rub minds with stakeholders of the affected communities to work out modalities of rebuilding the communities with a view to returning the residents to normal life. The governor expressed desire to kickstart rebuilding of hospitals, schools, and residential houses to pave the way for return of the first phase of the returnees. While in Ngoshe, Professor Babagana applauded the military for the efforts to restore peace to the area and further enjoined them to maintain cordial relations with the civilian populace who will be in their midst.
This is my 6th or 7th time coming to Ngoshe within the last 2 years. But I think we must support you. And for us to get peace, there must be resettlement of communities in the respective villages.
The governor urged people of Warebe, who converged to receive him on his way to Goza town, to be patient, as government will soon commence rebuilding works in the community.
National Orientation Agency, NOAA, in collaboration with War Against Indiscipline Y Brigade Borno State Command, has held its second passing out parade for participants after more than 30 years of suspension with the theme Early Warning Signs and Response. Jadwa John Justini reports.
The passing out ceremony of the War Against Indiscipline Brigade, involving 270 participants from 12 local government areas of Borno State, was suspended for 30 years as a result of lack of support followed by insecurity. The training of the brigade was successfully conducted by various service personnel, which include the Nigerian Police Force, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Nigeria Drugs Law Enforcement Agency, and Federal Road Safety Corps. The chairman of the occasion, Yahya Imam, who is also Borno State Director of National Orientation Agency, congratulated participants of the course, noting that such will enhance their performance while carrying out their duties, stating that the knowledge they have received is immeasurable.
Early warning signs for any problem for reporting. They work in collaboration with our security outfits. So these are some of the issues they are trained upon.
Deputy National Commandant Y Brigade Mohammed Bukar Kolo said they need the support of the federal and state government to enable them carry out their activities in full capacity.
We are grooming this youth so that we catch them young. We give them the discipline so that the country will be growing unity, peace, and progress.
Events featured at the occasion include games and dance by the participants, as well as presentation of awards to some dignitaries in recognition of their selfless services to the community. In Maiduguri, Chadwajan Jesni, NTA News.
That's all for our contribution. Nationwide continues after the commercial break.
I'm Deputy Comptroller of Customs Joseph Atta, the spokesman for the joint security exercise. Over a period of time, either through indifference or deliberate non-compliance to the ECOWAS protocol on transit of goods by our neighbors, the Nigerian Customs Service have been raising this issue. MOUs were signed severally. They were broken as soon as they were signed. We've seized over 32,050 kg bags of rice, and that is a huge impact. And then the fact that the coming in of this foreign rice has been completely shut down. We've gone around, we've received testimonies of farmers who, before now, found it difficult to sell one truck on a market day. These people say it now that those who could not sell one can now sell up to 20 trucks.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA. Get the latest news and updates from across Nigeria on NTA Nationwide. NTA Nationwide, weekdays by 4 p.m. Get it first, get it fresh.
We have come to the end of another successful year, and we wish to appreciate all those that mean so much to us. Our sponsors, our clients, government at all levels, corporate bodies, advertisers, religious bodies, civil society groups, political parties, and above all, you, our esteemed viewer. Together, we made 2019 great. Together, we shall make 2020 even greater. That is why we say, thank you. This is wishing you Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
You're welcome back. Nationwide continues in Abuja. We now take again Mitaire Ikwen's highlights of the activities of the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation for 2019.
We were
appointment of Boss Mustafa as Secretary to the Government of the Federation set in motion continuation of activities in the presidency and consolidation of the next level agenda. In the course of the year under review, the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation successfully coordinated major national events such as the presidential inauguration, the maiden June 12 Democracy Day occasion, as well as Nigeria's 59th Independence Day ceremonies. It organized an induction retreat for ministers, federal permanent secretaries, and top government functionaries to acquaint them with status reports on crucial policies, programs, and projects, as well as key performance indicators of the Buhari administration to enable them pull together in service delivery.
This call to service requires all of us to fully share in the President's vision and agenda for our country.
2 national youth entrepreneurship and empowerment summits were organized by the SGF's office in 2019 to harness the abilities of Nigerian youths in the ICT and creative industries. 20 selected youth entrepreneurs were given 1 million naira each as cash prizes from the federal government.
This is living proof now that yes, this government actually has plans for we youths and there are policies in place to make things work.
We'll be coached concerning how not to waste the money and how to put the money into our business in the most effective way.
Also in 2019, the SGF Boss Mustafa, on behalf of President Muhammadu Buhari, waded into the age-long Tiv Jukun crisis. He moderated a peace meeting among stakeholders from Taraba and Benue states who agreed to cease hostilities in Taraba State to pave way for peace-building efforts.
There is nothing like peace. Peace is power. And I think me and you, we are very capable of solving this problem.
We would stand with you. We will do everything within the instrumentality of government facilities and actions that are supposed to be taken.
Regular meetings and interface between the SGF and the leadership of the National Assembly complemented concerted efforts to enhance executive-legislative relationship in the outgone year. The office supervised numerous ecological projects nationwide, including the establishment of a central effluent treatment plant for the industrial areas in Kano State to address long-standing ecological and pollution challenges.
Government has really done so much to take the Kano people out of this.
The SGF received reports of several committees on key reforms, including the report on strengthening internal security framework and community policing in Nigeria, with assurances that government has the political will for implementation. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
You know what? Having spent heavily after the week-long Christmas celebration and other activities in the new year, something is switching the mood of federal workers, and that is the payment of the arrears of the new minimum wage. This has attracted commendation of President Muhammadu Buhari by Nigerian workers. Emmanuel Ayimiro sampled the mood of workers at the moment.
When President Muhammadu Buhari signed the new minimum wage into law in April last year and assured federal civil servants of the payment before the last day of 2019, today the backlog like a saving grace for many.
They tried because when we heard that they were going to pay, we were not so sure it was going to be, but later on we found out that it was true. So it's very commendable.
The federal government have fulfilled their promises. They promised to pay the arrears, the new salary and the arrears in December, which they did. I received my own last week. That is the arrears of about 140-something thousand naira. And majority of us have gotten in my Ministry of Science and Technology, majority of us, about 90%.
So we want to appreciate Mr. President for his job well done.
Today, everybody is smiling. It's going to be part of what I'm going to use to pay for my 2020 accommodation.
For the likes of Olushola, the smile on her face tells it all.
Already the salary was spent even before it came. So people were very happy having that extra to themselves to do some other things.
Everybody has done their own enjoyment. They've spent a lot, and when they start receiving this money to help them in paying their children's school fees and all.
States that have not actually done so,
should also fulfill their promise as well.
Now that the federal workers are enjoying the new minimum wage, there are high expectations from the labor cycle for the state governments to toe the line of the federal government for the implementation of the new minimum wage. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
Yenagoa, the Bayelsa State capital, has been shut out from public power supply for over 2 weeks following the face-off between the Ijaw Youth Council (IYC) and the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company (PHEDC) in the state. The situation has crippled small-scale businesses and made life difficult for the people. Baratua Pere Awe reports.
Residents who have witnessed total blackout for over 2 weeks remarks that the devastating situation has led to the hike in prices of some commodities, as traders are now forced to power their generating sets frequently. They are therefore seeking for lasting solutions to the electricity challenge in Yenagoa, as it is fast becoming critical.
On my side, I know they use NEPA light. NEPA day, but we know they use that. I know they use that. Because if them bring light, we where they use light, they do business. If you go here say light don't come, go off generator. Before you go enter inside shop, they don't take them. That one a light. Won't go in, they can't cut carry bill come. If them go, if they want carry the light, go, make them carry and go.
Like for we now, we can't put anything in the fridge. We're spending money for fuel, but it's not really helping.
If the light is going to be effective, nobody has a problem of paying the light bill.
They should make a commitment that will be back with actions immediately. They should remove the breakers. Where if A is getting light, everybody should have light at the same time.
It would be recalled that the Ijaw Youth Council (IYC) had on Monday, December 23rd, besieged the office of the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company in Yenagoa, demanding for 24-hour supply and removal of breakers to enable Yenagoa residents have uninterrupted power supply. Persons are, however, calling for a lasting solution to the light problem in the state. In Yenagoa, Baratwaipre Awe, NTA News.
From Yenagoa to Uyo, Governor Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom State has declared zero tolerance to cultism and vices inimical to the growth and development of the state. The governor made the declaration while playing host to the clergy, members of the traditional institution, and socio-cultural groups after the 2020 Solemn Assembly. Susan Asukwo has the report.
While treating guests to a luncheon after the solemn assembly at the banquet hall, Governor Udom Emmanuel reiterated that the peace and unity of Akwa Ibom State is non-negotiable, noting that anyone involved in any act that will disrupt the peace of the state will be dealt with decisively, irrespective of his or her status in the society.
2020, zero tolerance on anything that will disrupt peace. No matter how well placed that person is.
The governor also restated his avowed commitment towards the development of the state and called on Akwa Ibom people, irrespective of party affiliations, to join hands with him to move the state forward. In Uyo, Susan Asukwo, NTA News.
Time now to join Ibadan Network Center. All right, we'll now go to our next story. President Muhammadu Buhari congratulates His Majesty Professor Theophilus Prince-Will at 90, describing him as a natural ruler of Kalabari Kingdom of Rivers State. The president, in a statement, thanked God for a life well spent, particularly in the service to the people of Kalabari Kingdom, and also pray for God's protection and prosperity of the people under His Majesty's leadership. He also wishes the nonagenarian natural ruler longer life and continued health, good health. We now take another break. Nationwide continues shortly.
They swore an oath to serve our fatherland and defend the people. They traded their freedom, comfortable homes, and mortgaged their lives on the battleground for our unity and peaceful living. These are the great fearless, loyal and committed Nigerian armed forces who risked their lives courageously to safeguard our borders. But in the line of duty, many never returned. Nigerians, arise, let's celebrate our fallen heroes. Put on the remembrance emblem with pride to support the incapacitated and families of our fallen heroes.
It is indeed befitting the honorable memory of the gallant author and men who paid the supreme sacrifice to keep the country united.
President Muhammadu Buhari enjoins all ministries, parastatals, religious and corporate bodies to donate generously to the Emblem Appeal Launch. Send your donations to these accounts. Account name, Emblem Appeal Launch. Account number 393-200-7526. EcoBank Nigeria PLC.
Not so fast. Look, I'm tired. I want to check out of this country for greener pastures.
Just calm down for a moment. Please sit down. Do you have a job where you're going to?
No, but someone is arranging,
Listen, Alinko. Checking out of this country without proper planning means one thing. Unimaginable begin. You know, I've been in the diaspora, but legitimately doing great things at home and abroad. As I've been saying, without the proper footing abroad, the risk is not worth it. Listen, Alinko, it's better to be home than be trapped abroad, or even end up in prison.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
When you hear that sound, you know that Nigeria's most authentic newscast is about to begin. NTA Network News, breaking the news for over 40 years.
Welcome back to the concluding part of Nationwide. The humanitarian services of the First Lady Aishatu Muhammadu Buhari under the Future Assured program has reached out to pregnant women and other patients in 5 hospitals of Jigawa State. Hawa Haliru Haruna has the details.
First Lady Mrs. Aisha Buhari, who was represented by her personal assistant, Hambarut Sanwali, was in 5 local governments of Jigawa State to distribute the provision packs. Patients in Kazaure, Miga, Roni, Biwa, Enkwashi and Dusa hospitals benefited from the gesture. She said the support is to relieve their suffering and call on other well-to-do individuals to inculcate the habit of giving. Jigawa State Commissioner for Women Affairs, Yelwadau, and some beneficiaries expressed appreciation for the First Lady's support.
She purposely made this for women and children because they are her top priority. So it is her brainchild. This is what she's been doing, and it's not only now that she has brought something to Jigawa State.
The Future Assured program has been distributing such items to patients in the hospitals and less privileged. From Dutse, Hawa Halera Haruna, NTA News.
And now sports update. Enthusiasts task Team Nigeria ahead of 2020 the Under-19 Cricket World Cup. Details and more on Sports Update with Kene Emagbodike.
Sports enthusiasts have tasked Nigeria national men's under-19 cricket team on focus as they prepare to compete in the 2020 ICC World Cup in South Africa, January 17 to February 9.
Adaptation matters, and therefore the faster the they acclimatize, to that level of competition, I think the better it will be to the chances and to their competitiveness.
Nigeria, who are making their first appearance at the World Cup in decades, will open their campaign with a game against Australia January 20 before taking on England and West Indies. The Nigeria Taekwondo Federation is working at meeting the World Governing Body's deadline of January 10, 2020 for normal registration for African Qualification Tournament for Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, which is scheduled for February 22 to 23 in Morocco. For the critical qualification tournament, each country is eligible to register athletes in only 4 categories out of the 8 Olympic weight categories, with the registration to be done through the World Taekwondo Global Membership System. The tournament will be the only opportunity for athletes on the African continent to make it to the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. In football, Chokali Babes are relishing their victory in the Meilafia Peace and Unity Cup Dadare 2019 following a 5-3 penalty defeat of Obiega FC in the final match in Lafia. FC Baraya beat Adudu United 2-1 in the 3rd place match.
It's a medium where they showcase their talent and somebody will look at them and say, okay, let me have this one as a player for my club.
16 clubs from 10 wards in Obi local government area of Nasarawa State took part in the annual tournament, which is designed to foster peaceful coexistence and reconciliation among youth of the area and neighboring villages. With sports update, Kenan Ima Aborike, NTA News.
And that wraps up Nationwide for today. We thank you for watching. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. Bye for now.
A subsidiary of NNPC. There are significant price discrepancy between Nigeria and its neighbors across Africa. There's a discrepancy of between 150 to 250 naira. That creates an incentive for arbitrage, whereby smuggling triumphed by taking petroleum products across the neighbors so that they can be sold at higher price. While the smugglers are making the money, Nigeria is paying for it. And that payment is distorting everything that we do in terms of planning, in terms of our ability to fund, and thereby taking money that is meant for development. The introduction of this Operation White will have a reduction of close to 6 million liters on a daily basis, which if you take an average of 150, translate to a saving of over 1 billion naira every day. That is the benefit of Operation White, and we have started seeing the great benefit.
Imagine a station where you access information. Think of a station that creates awareness for national development. Imagine a station that prepares you for a bright and greater future. A station for all ages. Documentaries, classroom and television, events coverage, children's programs and variety shows. Always stay tuned to NTA Knowledge on the StarTimes platform, channel 359. For partnership, sponsorship and advert placements, contact us on NTA Knowledge. NTA Knowledge, learning to broaden horizon.
From the largest television network in Africa, the NTA, we bring to you Weekend File, where we seek the views of experts, government functionaries, movers of the economy, and the ordinary Nigerian on developmental challenges confronting the nation in an era of diversification. The process that is meant to reinvigorate all aspects of our national life in education, science, technology, and innovation, agriculture, health, and other aspects of societal development. The Weekend File crew has the onerous task of articulating all the issues, ensuring that all perspectives are brought to the table. On this show, all things matter, and opinions of every